The benefits of journaling are remarkable. Mental clarity, emotional stability, and the lowering of anxiety, all from the simple act of putting pen to paper.
The way you organize your thoughts will impact everything that you do.
The brain is learning to talk to itself.
If my life is a story, I want to be its author.
But this simple practice is incredibly hard to prioritize. It's slow, the ink bleeds, not to mention our lives are busy. We have responsibilities, and in a world of productivity,
I gave up all my weekends and holidays.
Journaling doesn't always seem the most efficient. It's taken me years to build a journaling practice. It's not efficient, it's rarely practical, but unlike years past, I'm seeing it profoundly affect my life. It's helping me de-stimulate, take notice of what's around me, and slow down, all for only a few minutes each day. This video is not sponsored by anyone. If you appreciate that, dropping a like would really help me out. I think we would all say that journaling is good for us, just like we know meditation is good for us and exercise is good for us. But that doesn't inherently mean that we do it. After all, our days are full of urgency. Our kids need us right now. This email needs to be sent immediately, and the honey-do list continues to grow and grow. Combine this with the TV playing in the background, our phones within reach, and journaling is a hard sell. But despite all these hindrances and distractions, journaling is making a comeback. More and more people are talking about it, sharing their experience and promoting a very different approach than is normal in our world. An approach that aims at less, not more, and one that prioritizes stability over speed. It's a practice I've tried to love for so long, but it's never seemed to stick. Something always came up or took priority, but all that changed for me exactly 1 year ago. I haven't missed a day since, and journaling has become a part of my daily life. I want to tell you my story of journaling and what I discovered this slow, intentional practice is really about. And it might surprise you where we start. Until a few hundred years ago, journaling was a symbol of wealth and luxury. Few people except the elite of society had the time, money, and literacy to spend their time writing their thoughts. It was often done out of necessity, not leisure. Businesses kept records, traders detailed their transactions, and history was recorded for future generations. But all this changed in the mid to late 1800s, when personal diaries began selling by the hundreds of thousands. And by the 1900s, journaling was widespread and normal. And believe it or not, giving someone your journal so that they could catch up on your life was a pretty common thing to do. Yeah, I'll pass. Anyway, the explosion of this personal practice was born, and it was revolutionary. With the boom of industry, suddenly there was more happening than a person could keep up with. And the pocket diary and notebook in part filled the role of your cell phone. This became a means to track appointments, payments, meetings, ideas, schedules, and everything in between. We used it to transfer our thoughts from mind to paper and to free up mental space. Fast forward to today, and instead of having a personal notebook of sorts, we have a personal computer. Smaller, faster, more efficient. Pen and paper didn't stand a chance. With the invention of software, programs, not to mention the internet, there was very little need to physically write anything down.
A few seconds later and boom, you've got a custom workout schedule.
Or so we thought. It turns out that there's one thing that our phones can't replace, and it might be the most important thing that journaling does. Journaling is one of the most active forms of de-stimulation we can do. Before computers and smartphones, pen and paper was largely used to declutter and de-stimulate the mind. This is the process of offloading mental data to keep our thoughts from ping-ponging around and inevitably forgetting something. Reminders, concerns, ideas, plans, etc. By writing them down, we could reduce the clutter and increase our mental real estate. This mental offloading served two main purposes: professional and personal. Professionally was purely about efficiency and output. Think logs, invoices, calendars, all of which could be purchased and filled out with minimal setup. But this mental offloading also served us on a personal level. Pen and paper wasn't just about efficiency and output. It was also a place to offload our thoughts, worries, concerns, and ultimately to de-stimulate our minds. Technology today has been exceptional at reducing the mental strain professionally in the output side of our lives. But where modern technology has radically fallen short is helping us offload and create margin in our personal lives. In fact, it's done the opposite. Instead of helping us process our day, we're shown ads when we're most vulnerable. Instead of reducing our anxiety, algorithms intentionally seek to heighten it, to keep our attention and make more money. Actively de-stimulating majorly goes against mainstream society, which is constantly telling you to do more, consume more, and buy more. But the solution to our busyness is rarely adding more into our lives. I've seen the effects of this in my own life, spending significant energy decluttering my mental load professionally, all in an attempt to streamline efficiency and get more done. I bought a faster computer so that I could tackle bigger projects. I used AI summaries to save time reading. But I suddenly realized that while technology was helping me streamline and simplify my work life, it wasn't doing the same for my personal life. I found I was more frazzled and overstimulated than ever, chasing one distraction after another. I needed something to help me offload the other part of my mind, my worries, ideas, and generally something to help me make sense of the swirling mass of thoughts, not distract me from them. In the past, when I tried journaling, it was all about accomplishment and output. It wasn't about organizing my thoughts, it was about being more productive, which is exactly why it didn't work. But I decided to give it another try, with a very different reason motivating me. Nathaniel Drew puts it absolutely perfectly.
A cluttered mind makes for a cluttered life. Everything that you hope to do in the world begins internally. And it's a tragedy every time you allow the mess that's going on in your mind to limit your potential dreams, ideas, and self-expression in the world. The way you organize your thoughts will impact everything that you do. Do not make the mistake of forgetting this.
I've let my mind limit me a lot in the past, and that single quote inspired months of trial and error. Out of all the practices I've explored, journaling seems to be the purest form of mental declutter and de-stimulation. It gives me a way to take my thoughts, one of the most unpredictable yet wonderful parts of my existence, and put them into physical, moldable form. This lets me sort and organize them, but one of the main benefits I've found using pen and paper specifically is it's obnoxiously slow and cumbersome. That doesn't sound like a benefit in today's fast-paced world. The ink smears, my hand gets tired, but all these things serve to remind me that efficiency and accomplishment isn't the metric I use for this part of my life. It's just enough friction to force me into a different rhythm. And perhaps most importantly, it's completely private. Most of my life is public, and probably even more of it is seen by advertisers and corporations that I don't even know about. A few months in, I realized that journaling is one of the few remaining places of actual privacy. It's just me, my thoughts, and paper. My journal doesn't have a monthly subscription, it doesn't steal my attention, and it has no agenda. Use it or don't, it doesn't care. It's raw, unpolished, and I don't need to edit how something comes out, unlike most areas of my life. If you're curious about my practice, it's very simple. I write my thoughts and my observations of them. Thoughts like, why can't I stop thinking about this? Or what does that say about me? Or I seriously overbooked myself this week. I hate this. What's going on? Each thought is a thread that I pull on. Some lead to nowhere, others open a secret door that I didn't know existed. I consider any thought that I write down one less that my brain needs to ruminate on. And slowly, one by one, I'm untangling and organizing my thoughts. I do this brain dump in a pocket notebook that I carry everywhere with me. But I also like to journal on 3x5 cards, where I write down an event I want to remember on one side, and then I put a few words to jog my memory on the other side. It's a flashcard, but for a memory. Now I have a snapshot from each day from the last year, and that practice has a very different intention from the brain dump. One is to remember, the other one is to untangle and organize. And I'm sure this practice will change and mold as time goes on, but for the first time in a long while, I'm actively de-stimulating my mind, not just distracting it.